This video is for the teachers that are having a seemingly impossible year. Maybe teaching is not what you thought it was going to be. Maybe your school didn't come through on the promises that it made to you when you took the job. Some of you feel unappreciated, underpaid, overworked. Some of you have classes that your classroom management is so out of whack and kids are having so many behavioral issues that you really start even feeling feelings of hatred about classes and about students and their parents as well. So what do you do when the end of the school year seems so far away, and if you make it, retirement is so far away, you just don't ever feel like you're gonna make it that far? That's what I'm gonna talk about today. So my first kind of piece of advice in this is that everything I've ever done that's been worth doing has had a difficult season. Whether that was marriage or having kids or dog ownership, everything has had a season. And when I can anticipate that what I'm doing is important, what I'm doing is what I've been given to do, like I feel like this is the thing for me to do, then I need to anticipate those difficult seasons because they always show up no matter what I'm doing. And in this, I have one of my mentors shared with me this idea of creating a pain plan where I know how I best can handle my hurt, my pain, my anxiety, my sadness, my depression. I know on the front end some of the things that don't make it better, right? They don't it doesn't magically whisk it away like I'm in some Calgon commercial from the 80s. There's about 3 people watching this knew what I was talking about there. But what I'm trying to do is have something like a first aid kit for my soul ready before these things happen. So just 2 quick examples of that. I know that hanging with family and friends always makes me feel better. And exercise. Now, exercise, I've said before, it doesn't make me feel better. It makes me feel less crappy. And I'll tell you what, for both of these examples, I don't want them to be the answer. When I have a horrible day, when I'm going through a really difficult season, the last thing I want to do is show up at someone's house and have to participate in a game or a movie or a conversation because I just want to dwell in my crap. But I know that if I do show up, if I do not fake it, but I just am an active participant in what's going on, it allows me to step outside of that so that I can be an active participant in the rest of life that is happening. And exercise, I don't want to be an answer either, but the fact of the matter is, if you're honest with yourself and you know the things that are going to help you to be better, whether that's therapy or running or whatever it is, those are the things you have to do. You make a pain plan so that you know when that feeling starts creeping up on you, you know exactly what to go and do so it can help you survive that season a lot better. The next point I want to make comes from all-American movie star Tom Hanks. I saw Tom Hanks on some show on YouTube where he was sitting at a round table with a bunch of other celebrities, and they were kind of talking about things they had learned in their careers. And he said the one thing he wished he had known when he was younger was that this too shall pass. And he explained that this actually, to him, means that you're making Forrest Gump and you're getting nominated for Academy Awards, this too shall pass. You make a movie and it's a complete bomb and you put your heart and soul into something and it is a dark night of the soul, this too shall pass. So whether it is something that is great or something that is difficult, it always is something that we're going to grow out of, something we're going to move past, we're going to move through. Some of you had harder lives than others, but everyone's been through something difficult. Anything difficult I've ever gone through, I've come out of. I've come out of the other side, whether it was losing parents, it was losing friends. It was not getting the job that I thought I was going to get. It was not getting the life I thought I was going to get. It's not making enough money. A lot of times there's more month at the end of the money than there is money at the end of the month. And I know if I can remember to remind myself that everything is just here for a season. It's just here for a moment, and that this too indeed shall pass. Another thing I try to stay away from is speaking in absolutes. Anger, I have learned, makes me completely irrational. I need to know this on the front end, and it actually makes having the pain plan very, very practical. Because I know who I am, and I know who I become when I get frustrated, when I get aggravated about something. I start saying things like, this never works, or this class is the worst, or this kid always drives me nuts. It's speaking in those totalities, and this just doesn't benefit me or anyone that I'm working with. I also know that when I become angry, I start making demands. Like, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. And you know that, like, for all of y'all that have ever lost your cool in front of your class, you know that by and large, there's no coming back from that. Once you spaz, you can't go back in time and put that spaz back in a bottle, as if there's a bottle spaz out there. I'm not really sure where I was going with that. But anyway, noticing when something's coming, when the feeling's coming, when the spaz is about to happen, knowing what's going to happen there, and then having an idea of what to do before you lose your cool. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to, whatever you're going to do, and I'm going to talk about a couple of ideas here, that what you're going to do is going to magically resolve this and it's going to be gone instantly. What it is recognizing your triggers and then taking a deep breath, going to the bathroom, even if that means you got to call somebody up, have them come to your classroom so you can have 4 whole minutes to just go to the bathroom of all places, to take a breath, to relax, to let it simmer down a little bit. One of my favorite things to do when I feel myself getting aggravated is I put a half smile on my face. People always ask me if I'm smirking all the time. And it's like, no, man, I have to remind myself that these students, this school, this job cannot take my joy. So I just get a half smile on my face, and I know that the world will not end if this class doesn't go as planned. That I can figure it out, that I'm smart enough and I'm capable enough to get through this so that I can do some self-love, do some reflection, do some growing, and show up better tomorrow. But some moments it's just about that survival. So it's figuring out what you need and doing it. If that's leaving campus for a cup of coffee, if it's talking to a friend, if it's the half smile, if it's doing yoga in the parking lot of the school, knowing what you need, recognizing when you need it, and then implementing that plan. Now, the last thing I want to share with you is a little bit next level, right? There are things that are incredibly important that are going to help you to survive a moment, but I want you to figure out how you're going to thrive for the rest of the year. So I had a mentor one time ask me 2 questions. One was, no BS, what would it take? So no nonsense, what would it take for you to succeed? The other part of that, another way to think about that is, how do you as a person, do you as a teacher, right? This could work for anything. You as a parent, take a quantum leap in your growth to move towards the person that you need to be to do the job you're doing now, right? What do you need to take a quantum leap? And man, that makes me stop and really kind of think, because it's this idea of not just going to the next level, not just getting a little bit better at the things that I'm doing. How do I grow monumentally to become that person? And that question changed my life, because that question makes you think about opportunity, makes you look outside yourself. I do not always have what it takes. I need someone to help me to grow in that particular area. So maybe that is a mentor, maybe it's or a coach or something of that nature. Maybe it's the right podcast or the right books that I'm consuming, right? Someone else has lived through this moment. They've dealt with these feelings. They've dealt with this class. They've dealt with this administration. They've dealt with this marriage. And I need their help to help me to get to the place of peace that they have. Something else in the last couple of years is really attending things like conferences. I need to go to places that I can immerse myself into. Books and podcasts are great to listen to and read them every single day, but it's hard to immerse myself in, especially if you have kids or a dog. They are, like my dog is whining at my office door right now. It is finding a place that is immersive, where you can do this work for several days. Now, I will say this. My problem for this was that I didn't think I could afford these sorts of things. I couldn't afford the therapy. I couldn't afford the mentorship, the coach. But it's really more about realizing that I was worth it. That I am worth the time, the energy, the effort, and the money that I put into that. It was, for me, looking at things like the fact that if you have the top 5 streaming platforms on your smart TV and you pay for no ads, right? It's like $150 a month on average for those top 5 streaming platforms. If I was to put $150 into me every month, what would that look like? So I came up with a budget. What would it look like if I put $200 a month into me? That means it's an online course, it's a number of books, it's the program, and then I carve out the time and the space that I'm going to do it. So it's not I just get it and the book sits on my shelf. I'm real good at that. I have a very impressive number of books on my shelf that decorate my home for just $24.95 each. But I create the time to do it. This is why conferences are so good. This is why having mentors is so good, because you have a scheduled time that you have to meet, that you have to be there, so you have to do it. I know some of you are having what feels like the worst year ever, but I want to remind you that you are capable of doing this, that you didn't get this job for no reason, that you were given this job to help children, but to also be the best version of yourself to do this. You didn't sign up to be a mediocre teacher or an okay teacher. You signed up for greatness. You signed up for impact. And the only way you're going to do that is to pour into yourself, to consume more videos, to listen to more podcasts, to give yourself the time, space to grow into who you are called to be. And if you're not there yet, somebody else that's gone through what you're going through has figured it out. It's just about finding that individual, learning from them, and then doing what it is you need to do to become the teacher that you really always dreamed of being. Somebody out there that you know might need this video. Would you consider sharing it with them so that they can learn and grow along with you? And please hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button. If you need more help, please consider coming to our Sunday night teacher talks that we have on Sunday, or sign up for our Facebook group. That's Real Rap with Reynolds Teacher Talk on Facebook. Is a great place to connect with other people that are trying to be next level teachers. That's it, gang. We'll see you next time. Peace.